Hello, my name is Leo. You're on BW Film Store channel. Today I will tell you about how to use ISO, shutter speed and aperture for beginners and how it works, why do you need it. So let's go. First of all, we will speak about aperture. We take optic. It can be different lens. For example, minimum here is 1.8 and maximum 16. Sometimes it can be minimum 2.8, 3.5 or 1.2, it doesn't matter. So if you see now I have 1.8 at its and the lens is open. I can see everything, it's clear, and if it is open, all the sun gets inside my lens. When you need to make no so many light inside your camera, you just close your aperture. For example, now I have aperture 8 and you can see it's only 1/2 of it is open and not so many lights can get inside your camera. For example, if it is extra sunny, you can just close the aperture for maximum. Here is 16, you see, very little hole, very small sunlights can get inside. So let's go next. Now we will speak about shutter speed. You can see here extra many different shutter speed. It starts from 1 second and ends on 2000. The best shutter speed is 125 or 250. It's like universal shutter speed. Why it is different and how it works? You open my camera and, for example, I make shutter speed 1 second. For example, look, it's 1 second. The hole is open for all 1 second. And as more it's open, as many lights get inside the camera to a film. So, for example, 125, you see, just also when you shoot, for example, for 1 second, 1 second, 2, 4, 8, 15, 30, it's very dangerous for you, also not for beginners, also for professional photographers, because when you take in hands your camera and shooting on 1 second shutter speed, your hands have little shaking, you can't control it, so your photo can be blurry. For example, it's 1 second. A bit little shaking, you can't feel it, but it is. So the most universal shutter speed is 125. If you need shutter speed like 1 second, 2 seconds, or maybe half second, it's better for you to use a tripod. Next step is ISO. We have different films and all of them have different ISO. The most universal film for beginners is Kodak, like Kodak Gold or Kodak Color Plus or Fuji. Usually it have ISO like 100, 200 or 400. It is the best film for the beginners. I live on Bali and here practically all the day is sun, especially in 8, 9, 10 morning, and I can use film, for example, with ISO 50 or ISO 25 or extra rare ISO like 5, and I can shoot here because it's extra many sun and I have a little ISO. The smaller the number of ISO on the film, the more light sensitive is the film. So in the morning I can use, for example, ISO 50. I can make settings, for example, I don't know really, but for example 125 shutter speed, not for shaking my hands. And next step is aperture. It's extra sunny and sometimes I can use aperture like 8 or 5.6, but better for you, for beginners, to use light matter. You can use light matter inside your camera. In many cameras it is still working, and the universal way is to use light matter on your mobile. I tested maybe 5 or 10 light meters and all of them working corrected. I just make some experiments between difference of light meter in camera and light meter in mobile, and really I didn't see any difference. So for you better to use light meter to see to make ISO, because you can change ISO. Also, next step is shutter speed. You think what is the best for you, not for shaking by your hands. It is usually 125 or 250. And next way is just the last way, is just to make aperture which your mobile tells you. So if it's extra sunny day, you should close aperture to make it maximum, for example 5.8, 8, 11, because it is extra sunny. And shutter speed usually, as I told you already, best for not for shaking your hands. And if it is day, for example like today, it's not sunny, it is weather before rain, I think. It is better to open your aperture, for example 2.8 or 1.8, and make shutter speed like 60, 125. It also depends on the object you are focusing, because you can shoot me, it can be one setting, and next you go maybe just for 2 meters, and here are another settings, because the light always different. If you try to shoot at night or in the evening, it is very dangerous, because ISO of your film is usually not so big. For example, you bought maximum it's 800 film ISO, for example. You should also open full your aperture for minimum. Here minimum is 1.8, and all depends on your shutter speed, because you can move your camera and sometimes it can show you shutter speed like 15, sometimes like 8, but it is not easy to control it, because as I told you already, your hands are shaking and you can't control it. That's why many people just shoot on film cameras only in the morning or in the day, but not in the evening. And also many film cameras, as you know, don't have flash. For example, this camera have flash, but not so big, and you can just take photos or shooting all day, because flash save your photos, but it is not a real film effect when you use flash, because flash kills really film effects. If you buy Kodak Gold, it is like warm color. When you buy Fuji, it is cold color. When you use flash, all of them are destroyed. It's just some result, any result, but not the real result that the film can give to you. I recommend you to shoot film from 6, 7 morning till 4, 5 evening. You can get the best results from this time. I hope my explanations were useful. Shoot on film, ask questions in the comments. I will try to answer everyone. My name is Leo, you are on BBW Film Store channel. Bye bye.